All right, everybody, welcome in to another episode of the NFL Seekers podcast. First of all, I want to thank you guys all for 1,500 subscribers. Super thankful that we're finally at that 1,500 mark. We're going to keep grinding. It's draft season, so more draft content coming out. We're going to keep grinding out the video, so definitely stay tuned and like, comment, subscribe to the NFL Seekers. But today, we're going to do more of these mock drafts that we've been doing. We're continuing our series, and today we're on to the AFC South. A lot of young, elite quarterbacks. It's going to be really fun drafting for them. How are you, Josh?
Doing good. I got a battle wound on my forehead. I just got in a fight with my dog. A wrestling match wasn't a fight. And I learned the term fuck around and find out. Got a nice tooth to the head. So, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling hyped up for the NFC or sorry, excuse me, AFC South. Let's get right into it. I'm ready. I'm ready to rock and roll. It's full steam ahead. We are almost a week away. Um, when this gets published, we will be a week away on Thursday. So I mean, I couldn't be more excited, man. Full steam ahead.
And it looks like you lost to your dog, I'm assuming. It looks like the dog came out clean.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. That
Good to
was
hear.
like if we're going like out of like UFC rounds. It was like 4-0 Oakley. Oakley,
Wow.
Oakley came out the champion.
All right, yeah, Stores got dominated. He
Yeah,
left with some scars.
a nice
Some
tooth to the head, to wake you up. I was like, all right. I see. We're playing dirty now.
some battle scars from Stores the dog over here. Let's start this draft up. We got a lot of picks to talk about, and let's just start it right up with the Titans, who pick at seven, first of any of these AFC South teams. And like I said, we're drafting for a lot of really intriguing young quarterbacks. It felt like the Titans were very intrigued by what Will Levis did last year because they kind of built around him like he was CJ Stroud, and they had a pretty exciting free agency, spending a lot of money on some big names like Calvin Ridley, Lloyd Cushenberry, Cheeto Awuzie. They traded for L'Jarius Sneed, so they definitely kind of went all in on Will Levis. So it's going to be really fun to get that evaluation. We're going to try to fill out the rest of the roster and draft for him. What's the biggest need that stands out to you for round one?
Well, immediately left tackle, and I feel like it's the most unkept secret in almost all of the draft. And I kind of feel bad for Titans fans because it kind of feels like we just don't really give them another scenario. It's all right, round one, pick seven, offensive tackle, move on. Which, it kind of is. You really need to upgrade that position. You really need to get better on that line. You need to keep Will Levis protected. So, I think, the obvious thing is to go offensive tackle with pick number one, even though that may seem boring and dull for Titans fans because that's what we've been doing since day one, and free agency didn't change anything.
And what tackle do you think fits the best for the Titans? It's looking like they're going to get their pick of the litter. They're going to choose the first lineman to go off the board. And I think we're both in agreement. I think we have been this whole draft process on who OT1 is. It's pretty obvious. Joe Alt from Notre Dame. Are you going to select him as well?
Yeah, I mean, you look at those grades, it's every single one is in the elite percentile. It is far to the right. And yeah, Joe Alt, he may be the cleanest draft prospect from the offensive line since Penei Sewell. So no feeling bad about Mr. Joe Alt. He's an incredible prospect. You're not missing out on, you got your flashy wide receivers. Oh well, you go get a guy that can keep Will Levis upright, and then we move on to round two, and then maybe we can go get someone a little bit more flashy and exciting. But Joe Walt is no consolation prize. He is he's a star child in this draft, and I kind of feel like a lot of teams are giving him a lot of hate just because of how electric the top receivers are, and Brock Bowers, the tight end from Georgia, are. So there's a lot of flashy, shiny toys, but Joe Alt cannot be overlooked in the top 10.
Yeah, Brian Callahan, great legendary offensive line coach, is getting an absolute gem to develop. He's my number four player in the entire class. I think he's a generational offensive tackle. I really do. He's as clean as they come. And I think the Titans would be, as boring as it is, because you see it every mock draft, I think the Titans would be very happy to have him. Moving on to round two, I'm interested to see what kind of needs stand out to you. For me, TK McClendon starting in that three tech opposite of Jeffrey Simmons. I definitely want to add to the interior defensive line, maybe even edge. Opposite of Harold Landry, it's just Arden Key. So you definitely might want to add someone into that rotation. So I am looking defensive line personally. What about you?
Yeah, 100%. And I would say maybe our next biggest need is linebacker. But yeah, I'm definitely looking in that defensive interior edge, and I think we got a player that we really like. Is he happen to be on the board, or is he gone?
Yeah, so we're mentioning defensive interior and edge. So why not just go best of both worlds, which is kind of Darius Robinson or Marshawn Nealon. They could both play inside outside. I think I like Marshawn Nealon just a little bit more, especially as an edge. I think he could just be an awesome game-breaking edge outside of Jeffrey Simmons. But you could play him inside, man. He has a lot of experience, like lined up right next to the tackle. He can definitely move around. He's very big. He's filled out. He's 6'3", 275. So I think this is a really fun pairing with Jeffrey Simmons, and I might want to add to that defensive interior some more too.
I absolutely love the fit. I think you slot him in as a day one starter, immediately revamps, and beefs up that defensive line. And we get bigger in the trenches, man. And that's what we need. That's what we need for the Titans.
Yeah, starting the draft off with Joe Alt and Marshawn Nealon, two monsters, two athletic freaks as well, though. So really love that. Moving on to round four. I'm still thinking defensive interior because you do bring in Sebastian Joseph Day. He hasn't been the best as of late, but you really don't have any depth on that defensive line, like at all. I'm looking at that depth and I'm not really seeing a name that even stands out. So I definitely want to keep just adding to that defensive line. I wouldn't mind going defensive interior, but do any other needs stand out to you?
Again, linebacker, and maybe we can upgrade at safety and add some depth there. But I think, you go get the most valuable, most, potent positions, which I really like, double dipping on the defensive line. Who's our top guys available here?
I really like Mason Smith because he's that really, really good pass rusher that you can rotate in with that rotation. But Makai Wingo would be fun. You could start him and kind of be a three-down guy for you. I don't mind a lot of these guys. I like Leonard Taylor and Dwayne Carter as well. Really high recruits coming into college. I'm fine with either of the four, really.
I think I like Mason. I think I agree with that. I think I like Mason Smith from LSU, a former five-star recruit. All the athletic traits are there. He's had some problems with injuries in his career, but you go the upside of this guy, he just really looks like a football player, man. And when he's on the field and he's right, he is a force to be reckoned with. And yeah, more of your third down specialist, more of your get upfield and get the quarterback type of guy. And you pair that, next we got Marshawn Nealon, we got Jeffrey Simmons. I think that's a really good, future of your defensive interior.
Really highly touted recruit coming into college. And like you said, he has all of the pass rush upside in the world, and it makes him kind of a limitless upside player. I could see him going, honestly, like this round four, it might be a little bit low for him. I think he could be a day two guy all day because of that upside. He's been a respected guy for a while. So we're gonna get a steal here in Mason Smith, a really nice pass rush specialist to rotate into that defensive line. And I agree with you. I think linebacker is still a pretty big need after adding Kenneth Murray because he's not good. And obviously Jack Gibbons. Jack Gibbons had a great season last year, but Kenneth Murray, you wanna upgrade.
The Kenneth Murray slander will not be tolerated. But you are right, he has not been very good. As a Chargers fan, he has just been very underwhelming, a former first round pick. But they paid him as if he was very good. They gave him a big hefty contract. I think he's making more than guys like Dre Greenlaw, which is kind of wild. But who are we thinking here? Cedric Gray, ultra good coverage linebacker. Trayvon Wallace, kind of your jack of all trades. JT Bertrand, kind of intrigues me here because he's more of he doesn't whiff tackles. He's a sure tackler. He was a Senior Bowl standout. A really smart kid, a high recruit. One of my more favorite guys in this later rounds. And I think, he can immediately come in there and, I think you can upgrade. Yes, you got Harold Landry, Jack Gibbons. I mean, he could push Kenneth Murray day one for a starting role.
Yeah, I think he would definitely compete with Kenneth Murray. It's just Kenneth Murray, and then you could let Gibbons ball like he did last year. And yeah, I think that's the pick as well. I think just getting a linebacker to compete, you could play special teams. JD Bertrand was a baller at Notre Dame in the in the ACC, so absolutely love that. Moving on to our next pick, I think receiver could be something to look at just for like a wide receiver four kick returner, kind of gadget guy, or maybe our Treylon Burks hedging, if you will, maybe interior offensive line for depth, safety for depth.
Yeah, would not mind double dipping on the interior at all. But yeah, I mean, with the new kick return rules, it would be fun to kind of get that gadgety player. Um, I don't think you want. I mean, you got Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, Traylon Burks. I don't love, and Traylon Burks has been nothing but underwhelming. As a third, I don't hate that though. Ooh, Josh Proctor, from Ohio State here would be kind of fun. I feel like he's kind of a guy that's kind of being overlooked. Really good prospect. Maybe a little underwhelming, but the physical traits, the speed, the athleticism, it's all there for him. I know you were a big Ohio State guy. Your girlfriend watches a lot of Ohio State football. What do you think of Josh Proctor?
Yeah, he's good. That really good box safety. That's something that the Titans don't really have. You have Elijah Molden and Amani Hooker aren't really in the box, aren't really those linebacker types. So I kind of like this. I like you see he played a lot of snaps in the box, but he can play deep as well. He's very versatile. I do like this because you need safety depth pretty bad on this roster. So I do like picking safety.
Let's go Josh Proctor from Ohio State. A guy who I think he's being very underrated in this draft class. I'll just say that one of my underrated prospects.
And that's fair value, I would say. With our next pick, let's look at receiver just to get someone. Maybe not. That's a pretty PFF doesn't
Hey,
like to update their
hey,
board.
no slander on Hayden Hatton from Idaho. If you would be so kind, he's ranked 300, but pull up the stats for Mr. Hayden Hatton.
That's a
Yeah,
Titans type of receiver, that Nick Westbrook Akine
look at
mold.
that. 1,200 yards in 2022, a 91.8 PFF grade and 16 touchdowns. And then in 2023, 1,235 yards and 9 touchdowns. That's some production. I know it's a smaller school, but when you go to a smaller school, you got to dominate that level of competition. That's what he did. We
All
could
right.
probably wait.
Yeah,
We
we'll
could
take
probably
him. We'll take him with our last pick. Let's
Yeah,
take
let's
this
go. You want to go interior?
interior
Offensive
offense.
line? Yeah, let's just add bodies. We got to add bodies. We got to add bodies to the Titans offensive line. That is one thing. Landon Robinson, I think I like him to start just slot in there as a kind of a swing guy for the middle of your interior. But yeah, I mean, really, what you just need to do is just add bodies. I really do like Landon from Texas A&M. Anyone stand out
Layden.
to you? Or sorry, Layden.
I like CJ Hansen. Either one. I'm honestly fine with either one.
Ooh, what about Kingsley?
Yeah,
What
Kingsley,
about
he's a good athlete, good RAS score, good track record. I wouldn't mind that as well. You can choose between the three.
Let's go Kingsley because we need a backup for Lloyd. We don't have anyone behind him, and I think Kingsley can slot in and play guard, so I like that.
Yeah, and if anyone was wondering why we waited on the interior, I'm not really worried about the interior. You got Peter Skronsky, Cushenberry, and Brunskill who played really good last year. So I actually like that. So getting depth is more essential. So good depth pick here. And then let's go get a receiver depth pick as well. And Hayden Hatton, really productive receiver at Idaho. You love to see it. Pretty electric draft from the Titans.
100% feels like a Titans draft. Let us know in the comments what you think with this one. But yeah, if I think we addressed the positions of need, and I think we did an elite level, man. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna give us an A on this one. PFF gives us a B. I'm gonna give us an A.
All right, you want to read it off?
Yeah, so round one, pick 7, we're gonna go Mr. Joe Alt, maybe the worst unkept secret of the NFL draft outside of Mr. Caleb Williams. Then round 2, pick 38, we're going Marshawn Nealand and kind of that edge defensive interior flex type of player from Western Michigan. And then we're double dipping on the defensive line and going Mason Smith from LSU. Round 5, we're going JT Bertrand, linebacker from Notre Dame, a really sure tackler, immediate special teams contributor. We're going round 6, pick 182, Josh Proctor, one of my favorite prospects in the draft from the safety position, which is kind of lacking in this draft, but a really good prospect in that you can get at really good value. And then we're going the center from Florida. I do not know how to say his last name, so I'm not going to botch it, but Kingsley from Florida. And then Hayden Hatton, wide receiver from the Idaho Vandals at pick 252.
Absolutely beautiful. Feels like a Titans draft. Moving on to the next team in the AFC South, the Colts at 15. We're gonna put on our Chris Ballard hats here and try to go for those RAS studs. Those, we're those RAS merchants with the Colts here. But yeah, let's start it off. And I think we're gonna have an interesting discussion in round one because I think I have a different want at 15 than you do. I think you want corner and I want receiver. So this should be a fun discussion. Do you want to make your case for corner? I'll make my case actually real quick for Brian Thomas, just because, like, imagine being able to stretch the field with Brian Thomas, with Anthony Richardson's arm. You have Josh Downs on the underneath routes, Michael Pittman, who's been kind of eating in that intermediate game lately, Jonathan Taylor healthy. I really think that Brian Thomas might just complete that offense, and it would be really, really just a dynamic pairing with Anthony Richardson. But does corner move the needle more for you?
Well, I will say yes, and specifically Cooper DeJean might be my favorite prospect for the Colts in the entire NFL draft. You got that Gus Bradley cover three type of scheme, which that just suits Cooper DeJean so well, so perfectly. He's such a versatile piece. He can kind of be that king's chess piece on the board for you, where you can slot him in at, he can play nickel, slot, free safety, strong safety, outside. It doesn't matter. He is just an ultimately perfect prospect for that cover three system with Gus Bradley.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. He's maybe the best zone corner in this class. Would you take him as a CB1 over Quinion and Terrion?
For the Colts, I would, and I really like Cooper DeJean, man. I think he's one of the better ball players in this draft. I think he's got the best ball skills of all the corners. I think he's got super clean hands. He's a sure ass tackler. He can come up and play run defense. He is so smart, so smooth in the zone. He's one of my favorite players. I mean, if I on my big board sneak peek, I have him as a top 10 player.
All right, I think it's fair. Like he definitely would be the best, but we're picking for Colts fans here. I like he would be a perfect fit for that zone defense, but I think that Colts fans might want to at least see Quinion or Terrion on the outside more, just because like a lot of people don't even project Cooper to be a corner. Even they project him to be a safety. So I mean, I find with it, it would be the perfect fit for Cooper, but just seeing Quinion and Terrion on the board does hurt a little.
It for sure does. Is Brian Thomas still on the board?
Brian Thomas is too. All four of them are.
Colts just who do we just we just moved DeForest Buckner, added some void years of like 27 million in 2026. So here's another conversation. The Colts and the 49ers have traded draft day picks before for players. Colts got DeForest Buckner. Um what would you think about Brandon Ayuk? Not that that would be a first. He wouldn't be a first round pick for that, but what do you think about Brandon Ayuk possibly being a draft day trade to the Colts?
I think he would go for a first, but I like it. I mean, obviously it'd be electric. I just think it would be a little bit redundant with Michael Pittman and Josh Downs. I don't know if it's like what they would do, get three of those intermediate guys. I think Brian Thomas might fit that better, but I don't know. I'm fine going corner. I like especially Quinn or Terry on here, but especially going CB1. But it's up to you.
I mean, I really do love Quinion Mitchell, and if I'm putting on my Chris Ballard hat, what I think they'll do, he may just be the perfect player for them. Elite RAS score, elite percentile and everything. Senior Bowl standout, a MAC all-time player in my opinion. He may just be the Chris Ballard pick. If it was what I would do, I'd go Cooper DeJean. But if we're putting on the Chris Ballard hat, I might just go Quinion Mitchell.
Yeah, if it was a what I would do, I would probably take Terrion Arnold or Brian Thomas. So we'll shake the hands here and we'll take Quinion Mitchell. He also feels like a perfect Ballard guy, a perfect Gus Bradley guy. He's incredible in zone. I would say he's right there with Cooper DeJean as the best zone corner in this class. He's just way too smart. He showed it off at the Senior Bowl. He's dominant on the outside, and I'm very confident that his traits and his athleticism testing will definitely translate on the outside. So we'll go Quinion. I think that's really fun. And then round two, we can definitely look to go receiver.
Oh, Troy Franklin there, man. Oof. That may just be that's a downfield threat. That's a guy that can get open. I think that complements Michael Pittman and Josh Downs and Alec Pierce very well. Ricky Pearsall is kind of interesting too, but I feel like that's a little redundant with Josh Downs. Keon Coleman is a big body guy. I think I like Troy Franklin. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. What are you thinking?
Yeah, Pearsall would be fun to pair back with Anthony Richardson, college teammates. Anthony Richardson's the one that threw that famous one-handed catch that he caught last year. That would be pretty incredible to pair them up if you believe that Ricky can play on the outside. I do. I like Troy Franklin, Keon Coleman, Ricky Pearsall, even Xavier Legette. Actually, I kind of love Xavier Legette to the Colts. He's kind of got that
Might be a
Colts
fun pick.
mentality. He's got the testing. He's a freak athlete. He's got the Colts mentality. He's he's hunting.
He's a
He's
downfield threat too. I mean, that's a guy that Anthony Richardson could unleash the rocket to. Are we shaking hands on this one? That's a Ballard pick. Xavier Legette.
I'm fine with that because some people don't like Troy Franklin. I'm fine. I'm fine with
Okay,
that.
all right, deal. All right, deal. Let's do it. Lock it in.
Yeah. No, I
Absolutely
actually
love
like that. I haven't really seen that pairing before, but he kind of does just feel like a Colt. So I think that's really fun. Xavier Legette coming off, as you see here, a breakout season out of nowhere, 1,255 yards, 7 touchdowns, just dominant in the SEC with Spencer Rattler. So we'll go bring him to the Colts. He can compete with Alec Pierce on the outside. I think he'd be pretty electric with Anthony Richardson though. So really like you starting the draft off with Quinion and Xavier Legette. And then moving on to round three, any needs stick out to you? Jalix Hunt feels like another one of those Colts RAS guys. You know, they love going defensive line. Let me see his RAS. He had a 9.18 out of Houston Christian, which is pretty impressive. So I think he kind of feels like a Colt, but
that could be a fun one. I mean, offensive line, not really. We're pretty good across the board there. Raekwon Davis and Forrest, Quiddy Pay. Gosh, yeah, I think I agree with you. I think Jalix Hunt from Houston Christian would be a really fun prospect here in the third round. And that's where you really put on your Ballard cap and you find these small school guys with elite RAS scores. I have no idea why Braylon Trice is so low on this board. That is quite disrespectful. We're gonna move off of that, and I'm gonna believe he's not gonna be there. But yeah, Jalix Hunt, I give me some Jalix Hunt, man. I love it. I love it. All right, we shaking on this one?
yep. So a really, really fun pass rusher. We'll shake on this one again. Another Chris Ballard pick. He's a RAS merchant. He's gonna fall in love with this pass rush specialist. He can rotate in day one, and he could be really fun opposite of Ebukum. So really love that. We'll take Jalix Hunt. Feels like that Colts player, that small school gem that they're gonna find, and then moving on to the
Linebacker.
next
Wanna
pick.
look, wanna look linebacker here. I think that's a position we could definitely upgrade. Zaire Franklin, really good in the middle. EJ Speed, not bad. Grant Sturd, however you say his name. I think we could definitely upgrade over him. A strong side. Jordan Maggie, a guy from Temple right here. I really like Jordan Maggie. That also feels. We're gonna say Ballard because we just we are very familiar with Chris Ballard and how he thinks and how he picks, and we hear a lot about it from our friend. Um, Jordan Maggie from Temple.
I don't know what roster you're looking at, but they only have two starting linebackers, and Ronnie Harrison would be their third. And I actually don't mind Ronnie Harrison as a third. Stewart would be like their fourth or fifth behind McGrone. I think I don't mind EJ Speed. It's just him and Zaire Franklin. I don't really think we need to go linebacker in round four, but we could.
Would you want to go? I know they just barely re-signed Julian Blackman.
I think tight
Um,
end could be a pretty big need. You got
is Nick Cross not starting over Rodney Thomas?
Nick Cross is starting. I don't know what roster you're looking at.
I'm on
Uh,
I'm on ESPN. What are you on?
yeah, our lads. Yeah, Nick Cross is starting.
Okay, I don't know why he wouldn't be starting.
But
ESPN has
Rodney
Rodney
Thomas is a
Thomas.
stud too. It is kind of tough to start Rodney Thomas, Julian Blackman, and Nick Cross. I would maybe bench Nick Cross if I was them. But
They
yeah,
actually got pretty good depth at safety. Yeah, their safety depth is actually really good. How old is Ryan Kelly? We could look to move on from him eventually, find his replacement.
yeah, and Will
He's
Fries
30.
isn't the best either.
Yeah, Ryan Kelly's 30, and Cedric Van Pran from Georgia is just staring us right in the face there. That might be too tempting.
Yeah, we'll definitely look interior. I think we need to look tight end as well. We just have Jelani
Tanner
Woods,
Tanner
Grants.
Bordellini, the most athletic center, most athletic interior offensive lineman in this draft class, Dan. Is that a good enough pitch for you?
Feels like a Colt.
He can
Feels like
sit
a Colt.
behind Ryan Kelly for a year or two and then ultimately be their starter. And he's just got incredible, athletic floor. And, I think, ooh, I think he could be nice, sitting behind Ryan Kelly for a year, developing, and then becoming their ultimate starter. Ooh, a guy that can pull. I mean, any kind of run scheme. He's just so versatile because he's just such an athlete.
Yeah, perfect versatile interior offensive lineman to kind of swing around. He has a 9.76 RAS score. So you're definitely fitting that criteria for Ballard, and you're getting another athletic freak with a crazy upside. So I like that pick.
Yeah, it's wild. Is I kind of forgot that they signed Joe Flacco.
I don't know why Flacco left the Browns. It was like such a perfect situation for him, but fair enough.
And I
It's
feel
such
like
a
he could have
random
done.
backup to Anthony Richardson too. Like you would think they'd go for a more athletic type.
I feel like the Commanders or somebody should have made a run at him to like be their potential starter.
Maybe the
Weird.
Denver Broncos.
Seriously, a reunion there wouldn't have been bad. Um,
I
Joe
think tight
Flacco
end's a
maybe.
pretty big need, man. I don't love Jelani Woods and Kylan Granson. Not that I don't love them as prospects, that I just don't love their durability. I don't know if they're going to be on the field and be as productive as Colts fans really think. So I do want to
Well,
look tight end.
I think we could upgrade that position. Jaheim Bell, if we're looking for the more of that receiving, Dallin Holker, the stock exchange calls him Dalen Holker. Stuck in my head.
That's so weird.
Dalen, I don't know. I mean, it's clearly Dallin. Shout out stock exchange. What are you
Ooh,
thinking of? I think the top two are pretty intriguing here, just because they're both more receiving type tight ends.
I love Jack Westover so much. I might just want to wait and take him a little bit later. I love him. Finally, the PFF simulator is updating itself, but we could take Jaheim Bell, another kind of traitsy guy. The Colts like those
He's just
traits.
Gerald Everett. He's a young Gerald Everett.
Yeah. All right, let's get Jaheim Bell just to get someone with some upside to rotate into that tight end room. He could be a good receiver for you. I do like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's just literally just Gerald Everett. You watch his tape, and I mean, there's the size, everything. It's Gerald Everett.
And then I do think running back is a need. You lose Zach Moss, so it's really just Evan Hull, Trey Sermon, Tyler Goodson behind JT. That's not really ideal. So we'll definitely attack running back here. Rasheen Ali could be a really fun, uh, honestly, number one, like first priority backup right behind JT day one. I think he'd be pretty fun. He could be that Zach Moss.
I I love it. Let's do it from Marshall. Oh wait. TCU Amar or I can't remember, Amani Bailey, Amari. I can't remember how they were pronouncing it at the Senior Bowl. He was a fun player, right there. I really liked him. Ultra productive in his final year. Elusive rating 117, gap grade, rushing grade, yards after contact. He's kind of a fun player too. I really liked him from the Senior Bowl. I don't know if how much of that game you watched, but he was a stud.
No, another explosive athlete for Ballard. I'm not going to complain about it at all. You need a good backup running back that can compete for snaps day one. So I do like that fun Colts fit, and he's definitely going to be getting a lot of snaps in that backfield. And then with the last pick, we can kind of just go best available. I wouldn't mind double dipping at corner at all. Right now, you've got Dallas Flowers starting out there.
Yeah, 100%. I think yeah, double dipping in the secondary may be our biggest need for if we're going to double dip at any position.
I
Anyone
like Dial a
standing out?
lot.
What was his RAS score? Was it elite?
Let me see.
Elite level, elite percentile?
He might not have tested. I don't see it.
No, nonetheless, he's got good grades. They drafted a kid, Darius Rush from South Carolina last year. I wouldn't mind going back and seeing if we can. Darius Rush was a player I really liked. I'm surprised he didn't turn out. He's like I was like fourth NFL team in 1 year.
I know that's crazy. That's one thing I'm proud of. Is I was really, really low on Darius Rush. I said that Jalen Jones was going to be instantly better than him, and he ended up starting day one. I was really proud about that. But yeah, let's stick with the South Carolina. Well, let's throw another dart. Diallo actually has safety flexibility as well. He really just plays anywhere in the secondary. So that's a perfect just rotation backup. He can play special teams. And he actually had the fourth highest RES score at the combine, apparently, for a safety at 8.93. So they did chart him with the safeties, but he's really athletic compared to those safeties in this draft. So I like that dart there.
Absolutely love it. Let's log it in.
All right. Well, that's a Colts draft right there. We did our best Ballard impression going for those RAS merchants, those athletic freaks that are going to develop into really good starters for the Colts one day. So I love that. We built around Anthony Richardson. Starting off in round one at pick 15, we added to that defense, got CB1, Quinyon Mitchell, just an absolute freak. Round two, we get Xavier Legette, another freak DK Metcalf type receiver. It would be so fun with Anthony Richardson. Round three, we have a typical Colts pick. Go to a small school, Houston Christian, get Jalix Hunt, really high potential, high RAS score player. Round four, another great athlete, high RAS score, Tanner Bartolini to rotate in that interior, near swing interior lineman. Round five, Jaheim Bell to rotate in that tight end room, some receiving chop upside as well. Round six, Amani Bailey, just a nice, solid all around running back that has some explosion, has some receiving upside that can back up, honestly, be the number one backup to Jonathan Taylor day one. And then round seven, Marcellus Dial, solid on the outside in the SEC. You can move around that secondary. Really like that draft a lot.
Chris Ballard, our phone lines, man. Come on. We will draft for you.
You
We'll
need some
draft
assistance? Need some scouts?
exactly. We know what you're looking for. We know what you want. So hit our phone lines, anytime, anytime.
Yeah, we've got that quick access to the RAS score, so just let us draft for you, Chris. But moving on to the next AFC South team, just a few picks down, the Jaguars, who pick at 17. Should be another fun discussion. Our discussion with the Colts in round one was receiver or corner. I think it might be the exact same with the Jaguars here. So let's see who's available at pick 17 and what position do you like going round one for the Jags the most?
Gosh, it's so tough because they do have a lot of money tied up in receiver right now. It's not like it's a bad thing to double dip there, but I mean, you just paid Christian Kirk $20+ million a year. You just gave Gabe Davis $14+ million a year. Do you have Zay Jones, who's just mid? So I mean, none of these guys are really wide receiver ones, and you're paying two of them like they kind of are. So we could definitely get better, cheaper and younger at that position. And then, I mean, I do like it'd be fun to pair, another elite corner on the opposite side of Tyson Campbell. Oh, hey, just out of curiosity on your R lads, who's the starting strong safety?
Darnell Savage, but actually I heard he's going to start in the nickel and they're going to move Antonio Johnson to safety, so they're just going to rotate him.
Dude, Antonio Johnson was like he was my guy last year. I just wanted it shows him starting on ESPN's roster. But oh my God, I forgot about that dude. I absolutely loved him. And he ended up I thought he was gonna be like a back end of round one, day two player, no doubt. And he ended up going in the six. It's just crazy. I still don't really even understand.
Yeah, he
But
was your sleeper. You loved him.
and he kind of was. I mean, it essentially was a sleeper. He went to the sixth round. I mean, a guy with that traits, that size is crazy. Um, anyways, oh, I wouldn't mind.
I wouldn't
Mm,
mind a Johnny Newton, Byron Murphy. I feel like that's an underrated need
what I
that
was
no
just
one
gonna
really.
say, over Hamilton at nose tackle, I wouldn't mind just pairing one technique kind of guy right there and just getting better in that interior. Um, oh yeah, maybe we don't even go receiver or corner. Maybe we just I mean, Johnny Newton or Byron Murphy here. You
I
want to
I
go?
feel like Byron Murphy feels like that Jaguar. He can do it all. He's a little bit better in the run defense than Newton, and you're probably going to play this player in the nose, and Murphy's a little bit more filled out. So I do think it would be the better fit for the Jags specifically. But I do like it because you have Roy Robertson Harris. Is not the most exciting. So you're just kind of heading on that defensive line. He's going to be your best interior offensive lineman. Your edges outside of Josh Allen haven't really done much, so he's going to help them a lot. I actually really like this pick. I don't really see it often, and I think it could help the team the most because you got like Ronald Darby, Gabe Davis, at least somewhat competent stopgaps.
Yeah, let's do this one. That might be honestly our biggest need. Then we can attack the other two in the coming rounds. But yeah, Byron Murphy, the second would be an absolute incredible pick and great value here.
Yeah, absolutely love it. He has a lot of experience in the one tech, even he can just move anywhere. Love that pick for the Jags. You don't see it often. And then with the next few picks, we can attack receiver and corner.
Yeah, who's our best? Oh, honestly, how fun would TJ Tampa be on the opposite side of Tyson Campbell? Just two physical big cornerbacks. I ooh,
I wouldn't mind it. I would say that the corners down the board might be a little bit better if you wanted to wait for corner next round and get one of those Florida State boys, then go receiver right here. But
I
I'm
mean,
fine with
low.
it.
I mean, waiting. I mean, low moving costs for the Florida State boys. That's for sure. Um, who I would have liked to get here. We just went Malachi Corley. Ooh, that would be a fun take as well. Um, you know,
Corley
it kind
could be
of seems.
really fun.
What you know, it kind of seems like a bulky pick.
Hmm.
Um, Tez Walker.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
We have yet to give Tez Walker to anyone. This may be the team to do it. I mean, the guy is really, really good. He just struggles catching the ball. Yeah, elite separator, extremely athletic. He just struggled through the process. He struggled at the Senior Bowl, and that's just really, I mean, we were talking about him going around one, and then he just dropped a lot of passes at the Senior Bowl. that was that's what just everyone just got scared off. But I wouldn't mind Tez Walker to them.
It's not bad. He's a good complement to that receiving room. I'm a little bit torn here, honestly, because like obviously Roman Wilson, Pearsall could be fun with the inside outside flexibility. Corley kind of I could see as a Jag. He would be that really fun Debo type player for them. But yeah, Tez Walker would be the best outside option, really.
Let's go Tez Walker. Let's just go based off the upside. I mean, he was really good in college. That drop rate of 6.8% is scary, but it can be fixed. But a really, really fun prospect outside of, I mean, it's just getting open. It's at an elite level. I mean, he's really fast. He's really athletic. I mean, you got to do two things in football. I always say, if you're a wide receiver, you got to get open, you got to catch the ball. He does one of those at an elite level, and one that we're just kind of scared about. But I wouldn't mind taking the upside on Tez Walker here.
Very good separator. Like you said, it would be a Balky pick. Balky would be the guy to, pull the trigger on this guy. I know a lot of Jaguars fans might not like this one, so I'll kind of cope. I'll hedge this one and I'll say this is Troy Franklin. Just envision that this is Troy Franklin because I think this is the range that he would go. And I think he's the perfect fit here to kind of add to that receiving room. I think Trevor would love Troy Franklin because he comes down with those deep balls that no one really came down with last year. Trevor had a lot of touchdowns dropped. I think Troy Franklin would be a guy that comes down with those kind of crazy catches. So envision that this is Troy Franklin if you don't like the pick. But yeah, I do like getting that type of receiver, that kind of stretching, a game-changing receiver. I do like that. And then moving on to round 3, we can definitely look at corner.
Yes.
Ooh,
Jerry Jones, man, low moving costs. That's all you need to know. It's not going to take long to get to Florida State to Jacksonville. So what do you think? We just lock this one in, forget about it?
it's way too easy. The second best slot corner in the draft, you can lock him in as your slot corner for the next decade. Let Darnell Savage, Andre Cisco, Antonio Johnson fight it out to be the safeties. I absolutely love that. You're just adding to the secondary, adding more young talent. I absolutely love it. I love Jerry Jones. He was dominant last year. You see that 90.7 man coverage grade. He's so sticky in coverage.
Let's do it. Love it.
And
I
he's
love
got
it. I love
size
it.
to play on the outside too.
He's a good dude. He's a good football player. Jerry Jones is a good football player. I really like Jerry Jones. One of the guys who of the tape I watched. I'm probably one of my favorite players in this entire draft class.
Yeah, really versatile. Absolutely love him. Would be seamless fit, keeping him in state, the low moving cost, like Stores says. Moving on to the next pick, Michael Hall would be a beautiful, beautiful pick. We haven't gone defensive interior yet, and we
Running back too. Running back too. Tanks Bigsby absolutely did jack squat last year. Um, I would not mind upgrading a better 1-2 punch for Travis Etienne.
I mean, could
Maybe
go
like
interior offensive line as well, just because I think extending Ezra Cleveland was kind of terrible, and Brandon Sheriff is really up there in age too. So that
so is
could,
Mitch Morris is 30 plus years old, I believe, too, right?
yeah. Do you want to just go Trevor Keegan? Someone that I don't even think we've given anyone, but a nice pass blocker that can honestly start day one and really compete with Ezra Cleveland. I think he'd be nice.
100%. Yeah, we do need to get younger on that offensive interior. Lock Trevor Keegan in, another Michigan man. You know, they're built right there, man. That's all you need to know is they're built right in Michigan.
Absolutely. I really love that. Moving on to our next pick, which is just like 2 picks down the line. I think a safety could be fun. We added a nickel corner, but we could look at safety as well. Like Cole Bishop would be really nice, just all around safety, athletic as hell. the most like versatile athletic safety in his class. I can't believe he's still there.
Or we could wait, go running back and get Trey Taylor, Ed Reed's cousin. Oh, wait. Sorry. I got to pitch this to you because this could be around where it'd be very tempting. Trevondre Sweat, pair him with Byron Murphy. What do you think? What do you think is just our plug and play nose tackle, immediate upgrade over Devon Hamilton, and then you kind of move, you make Roy Robertson Harris your like, your backup swing interior for the
Well, you
defensive
wouldn't
line.
make Roy Robertson Harris's backup, but Sweat would be that, yeah, that first down, that run defending nose. But I think you definitely big brain that. That was smart. But my only thing is like if I was the Jaguars, I would 100% pair them up. My only thing is I don't think he's going round 4 no matter what. I think he's a chief in round 6, round 7. If you want to take him, I think you'd have to take him round 5, 6 to steal him away from the Chiefs. I don't think you have to take him right here though,
You
personally.
know, yeah, I agree with you. I think we can lock him into the Chiefs in round 6, just because that's just going to happen. It's inevitable. Another pitch for you, Braylon Allen. Could be a beautiful compliment to Travis Etienne as just your big bruising bell cow running back.
Anais Smith and just put him at running back because that's pretty much what he is. I would almost like that more. I mean, I don't mind Dearness Johnson and take Bigsby. It's just for backup. Travis Etienne played like 100% of snaps last year, but we could go running back. I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, or maybe we just go back. We circle back to Cole Bishop, just a versatile piece in that secondary. May just be
Really
damn
like
near.
that.
Yeah, let's just go with Cole Bishop. Just add versatility, depth to that secondary. Just keep getting better there.
I really like that pick. I think it would be really yeah, he might be your best safety day one. He's a really, really good player, man. Very versatile, can really play anywhere for you on that entire defense. He can play linebacker for you. So really love that pick. I think edge might be a need, man. Trayvon Walker, just say what you want about Trayvon Walker, man. He isn't the greatest. I would love to take Javante Juan Baptiste here. He's kind of a baller. He had a great game against Ohio State this year. But if there's another position that stands out to you, we'll go.
No, I love that too, and I was gonna agree with yeah, with Javante. I think that's a great pick. Elite percentile grades right there. A Notre Dame kid, a smart kid. Let's lock him in. I love that.
Yeah, if anything, just start him on early downs. Look at that 9.9% run stop rate almost every single run. That's random. He just swallows up 85.4 run defense grade, and he's a big guy, 6'4", 260. So I really like that to be early down edge rush setter. So really love that. And then moving on, we have 2 picks left. Any needs stand out to you?
Oh gosh. Would you want to possibly double dip at wide receiver again?
Wouldn't mind it.
Just yeah, I think I would like oh man, Bub Means, the kid from Pittsburgh.
I don't
Let's
know much
go to
about
Bub.
him. I like Casey Washington a lot. I don't know much about Bub.
I don't
Sounds
know much
crazy to
about
say.
Bub either. I just liked his name. I wanted to say it. I'll be honest, I don't know anything about Bub Means. I just liked his name.
I'd be fine with it. We could go running back here. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't hate the value at running back here.
Who we got on the board? Carson
Kendall
Steele.
Milton. Kendall Milton's pretty nice. Just good overall. He's a fluid receiver. I don't mind that. We could probably wait to get him.
Played an elite level of college football from Georgia. Yeah, I like Kendall Milton. Let's go here. 6th round. I think that's a fair value for him right here. Let's go Kendall Milton.
All right, let's snag Kendall Milton, and then last pick, we'll kind of just go best player available. I think defensive interior could be another position we attack. Any last positions you want to shout out?
Bub Means. Should we go Bub Means? Just keep. That's got to be one of the better names, dude. Come on. Let's see the grades here. 700 yards, 6 touchdowns, a 71. Where do you does it show where he mostly played? If you scroll down, is he more of like a slot? Are they
It
not
doesn't
say?
show splits for some reason. I guess it's probably just because it's so far down. They don't have
What's
everyone's
his
splits.
what's his size look like?
Ooh,
6'2", 215, not bad. Redshirt senior.
yeah.
We go Bub Means.
Yeah, we'll take him to compete with Tim Jones as our wide receiver 6. We'll get that special teams upside. I like it, filling out the
Throw a
that
dart at
roster.
the kid, man. That's an elite level name. It might be an elite level player.
All right, I'll let you read it off since your favorite player was drafted here.
All right, we got round one, which me and Dan talked through this one. We were not planning on going. We were planning on going wide receiver or corner. We ended up going defensive interior. Byron Murphy, the second from Texas. Media upgrade to that line. That is a lethal line if you add Byron Murphy to it. Round two, we go Tez Walker from North Carolina. Dan says slot in Troy Franklin. If you don't like the Tez Walker pick, clearly PFF does not like it. Round three, you go Jarian Jones, corner from Florida State, one of our favorite players in this entire draft class. Just a good football player overall, play slot. We think he has the versatility to play outside. Round four, guard from Michigan, Trevor Keegan. They're built different in Michigan, man. I'll tell you that. They're coached right, they're built right. Be immediately, backup from day one, but a guy who has starting potential. Round four, pick 116, Cole Bishop, the versatile, hard hitting, nose for the football type of safety. You just plug and play him anywhere in that defense. Round five, Javante Jean Baptiste, edge from Notre Dame. Round six, Kendall Milton, running back Georgia. And round seven, pick 236, wide receiver Bub Means from Pittsburgh, the biggest sleeper in the draft.
Bub means Balky gets his guy, Bub. You absolutely love to see it. But moving on to the last AFC South team we're going to draft for the Houston Texans, who have had an eventful offseason, going all in, literally trying to win that Super Bowl for CJ Stroud in year two. You bring in Stephon Diggs, Danielle Hunter, absolutely crazy, some superstars. You get some really, really solid rotation, not even rotation, just super solid players. Danico Autry, Aziz Al-Shair. I think they're both going to have just breakout seasons with D'Amico Ryans coaching them up. So really excited for them, not to mention Joe Mixon as well. So you're just really excited for just this team. It's going to be one of the more fun teams to watch this entire season. But let's see who's there round one.
Yeah, we really don't have a need, so we're going best available, man. We do not have a need on this roster. I mean, we can definitely go depth, but we don't have a need.
Yeah, something to maybe watch out for. We have maybe zero needs on this team and 20 picks. So watch out for the Texans to trade back up into the first round, because why wouldn't they? Like when I was doing the mock draft to prep for this, why not trade up and just get the guys that you want when you have all this capital and not really any need?
Would we consider tight end here to eventually replace Dalton Schultz? Is
I
that just
think
how
tight end
stacked
is something to look at for
I mean,
sure. I think
tight
running
end.
back is something to look at. I don't even have Joe Mixon on really the shortest of leashes. I think running back is something we could look at in round two.
I mean, our secondary is beautiful. It really damn near is. Every position is beautiful. It's filled out. Our
So I
wide
want to
receiver.
say I would have taken
Yeah,
Mikey Sanders still here just to sit him, behind Desmond King, learn from Desmond King for a year, and then he's definitely going to be the best slot corner in the NFL next year. But he's off the board, so that definitely takes some options off the table. I still wouldn't mind going corner. Might be, one of the better positions to take when you don't really have any needs. What do you think?
we could definitely add some depth and get younger at defensive tackle and edge. I wouldn't mind that either. Maybe let's look at the corners on the board right here, or edge. I mean, I want to go. I think I have a player I want to go in the second round on the defensive line. Kamari Lassiter would be a fun D'Amico Ryan's pick here, man. Ultra, I mean, not the best athletic traits, but a guy who super smart, super instinctive, a nose for the football, just a hard hitter. He played in the SEC, went up against elite competition, shut him down. Just didn't test incredible, but I don't really care for what I saw on the tape. Didn't lie with Kamari Lassiter, and I'm not too concerned because he ran in the 4.6s. Think that was just a bad time for him. And I mean, he's more that quicker than fast type of guy. What do you think about Kamari Lassiter here?
I love Kamari Lassiter. My thing is I don't even know if he would be here at this pick, but I do absolutely love the fit. D'Amico Ryans would definitely turn this guy into just a star corner opposite of Derek Stingley. He's a dog. He's got a crazy track record in the SEC. He's really fluid. I think he's being underrated as an athlete. So yeah, let's take him here. I think maybe people will be scared off by that 40-yard dash, but really he's an effective athlete for me. He's really good in that 10-yard split, the three cone where it matters. He's really fluid, and he's going to be a sticky cover corner, sticking on receiver. So I really like that fit, actually.
Yeah, I got a guy if he's still on the board. Go to defensive interior. I think he is going to be here. Talk me out of Rook, a row.
That's hard to talk you out of. I think, he's got all the upside in the world as well. I think D'Amico Ryans would really love him. Personally, I'm higher on Michael Hall, and we could get him a little bit
I
later.
I've been Michael Hall has been growing on me. I was going to talk about that. He is out of a defensive interior that's not, with a lot of like really high upside players. I feel like Michael Hall really does have that high upside.
Yeah, that's the thing. He moves like crazy, fluid, and he's 20 years old. And when he's kind of lumped in with all these guys in the same tier, you want to bet on a 20-year-old with the highest traits and athleticism of all these guys. So I wouldn't mind, maybe going waiting for Michael Hall like a round or two. And I think running back
Yeah,
could still be
I think
something we look at.
we could get Michael Hall in the with our third pick. You just said you want to look running back?
I think we could look running back. I think we could look interior offensive line to get like if we could start Christian Haynes day one. I might just want to go Christian Haynes because we could definitely start him over Kenny Green day one, who wasn't the best last year. Juice Scruggs wasn't the best pick in the world. We could go interior offensive line.
Camp battle, baby. Only makes players better. Let's do it.
I
And if you
absolutely love it.
scared, Dan, you scared of this, then go to church.
You scared to go to church, Mr. Christian Haynes himself, the biggest dog in the whole draft. I love that pick, though. I genuinely think he would start day one somewhere on that interior and be really, really good for CJ Stroud. So getting some pieces that can compete to start day one. Trey Benson is there in round three. You're gonna probably have to talk me out of Trey Benson because I think he would be the perfect complement to Joe Mixon, might even overtake him by the end of the year. I think he could be a bell cow by himself. So I would like to go that way with all the picks that we have, unless there's someone else that stands out.
I love it. I cannot talk you out of that because that is a perfect fit, an eventual replacement, whether it's this season or next season. This is probably round three right here. This might be the run on running backs. And when you're a team that's, in a position where you can go best player available, get yourself a difference maker, the rest of your roster is filled out, you have the luxury of taking Trey Benson here. So let's lock it in.
I absolutely love that. If something happens with Joe Mixon, you've got a great insurance policy with Trey Benson, who could be his own bell cow back eventually, and especially in that offense. I really love that. I think linebacker is something we could look at. Obviously, we have Alshire and Christian Harris, but Henry Tuato'u isn't the sexiest LB3. Wouldn't mind upgrading there. Tommy Eichenberg could be fun going back to the Ohio State well where you hit on that quarterback.
I mean, I wouldn't mind that at all. Um, I'm gonna let you give the sales pitch on Tommy Eichenberg because you watch more Ohio State tape than anyone.
Let me give you a picture. Close your eyes. Josie Jewell.
Lock it in.
Same
Lock
player.
it in. I mean, worst case scenario, we got an elite special teamer on our hands. A guy that can play all over special teams, and that missed tackle rate is only 8.7. That's an elite level, coachable guy. Ohio State, a hard nosed football player to play in the Big Ten. I like it.
Yeah, and you see that coverage grade is a little rough, but I think he's a little bit more fluid of an athlete than like a Josie Jewell. I actually do think he has some upside and can be a solid starter in the NFL. Definitely compete with Tua To'o. So really like that. D'Amico Ryan's, he knows linebackers better than anyone. He can develop them better than anyone. He was one of the better linebackers I've ever watched in my life growing up. I will always remember watching him. So moving on to the next pick, we could keep attacking defense. Any other needs
Hey,
stand out to
Tyke
you?
Smith, best player on the board here, man. You just add to that secondary. They're like Pokemon. You got to catch them all. It's a position where it's just endless. You need players on the field. You need safeties. You need corners. You need defensive backs. And so the rich get richer.
Yeah, I think if he is on the board the here, you just have to snipe him. He can play anywhere. I think he's the third best slot corner in this draft. Played a lot of slot corner last year. He can start at safety though. Day one, really kind of move around in that secondary. And then when you move on from Desmond King, he can just be that perfect slot corner for you for your future. So I think that's just a crazy steal. Shouldn't be there. We'll take advantage of it.
Got two picks in a row, 188 and 189.
I think we
Um,
could look at tackle, maybe just get a swing tackle. I don't think Titus Howard, is the craziest tackle ever. Maybe we get like a Lamea who can play guard tackle, have some upside. I don't mind that.
I love that pick. I don't think we need to talk about this one. In the sixth round, if he's there, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it reminds me of Braden Daniels last year, who was a tackle at Utah, got drafted to be a guard for the Commanders, and now he's looking to start at left tackle for the Commanders right now. So could be a good, just versatile offensive lineman for the Texans out of Utah. I like Oladapo, really, really versatile, athletic safety to play for D'Amico Ryans. I think that could be fun. Josh Newton, some upside to pair with D'Amico Ryans, and now we have so many picks and so little needs. We're just going for upside. We can get Ed Reed's nephew, Trey Taylor, keep the nepotism going.
Screw it. Screw it. Why not? We're in the sixth round. Let's get a little family. Let's get a little family genes in our blood here. You know, I mean, if he's a quarter or 10% of what Ed Reed is, blood in there, you got yourself a damn good football player.
100%. I actually really love that. He's a baller at Air Force. Has the NFL bloodlines. He's really athletic. I love that. And then I think we need to go tight end here, no doubt. Like you mentioned, tight end earlier. I want to go Jack Westover. He's a gem. I'm just gonna call it right now. He's gonna be a starter in this league in 5 years. I really think he's just slept on, and he's gonna be still in this draft and a really solid NFL player.
Let's do it. Lock it in. Lock it in. Washington Husky, great season over there. Played with Michael Penix, played with some elite level wide receivers, which probably hindered his production a little bit. So, a very slept on player from Washington.
Yeah, not crazy production at all. But when I watched him, I thought he was going into the draft next year because I was just shook that there was no hype for this guy. I thought he was going to be like a highly touted tight end prospect. So I really like him. I just have a feeling about him personally. With our last pick, let's go defensive interior or edge, someone to rotate in there with D'Amico Ryans. They love adding defensive linemen.
Should we double dip at Washington?
Or we
Go
could stay in Houston.
low moving costs. That's all I'm gonna say. You don't have to sell me on low moving costs.
Stores is always one down for some low moving costs. So love to see it.
All right, Dan. I think did I read the last one? Are you taking us away with this pod?
Yeah, I'll take us away with this beautiful D'Amico Ryans draft. You came into this draft with zero needs and you left it with even less needs. Absolutely electric. You get Kamari Lassiter in round two, pick 42, a really solid dog of a corner. You get Christian Haynes as well in round two to definitely compete to start somewhere on the interior offensive line. Round three, you get Trey Benson, instantly one of the most exciting backup running backs in the league. Dynasty owners definitely keep an eye on Trey Benson. I think he has bell cow upside. Round four, you get a pair of defensive players, Tommy Eichenberg to compete at starting at linebacker, and then you get Tyke Smith to move around that secondary, be a really solid slot corner / safety. Round six, you get Satoa Lamea, a nice versatile offensive lineman from Utah with some upside. Round six, you get Ed Reed's nephew, Trey Taylor out of Air Force, just electric pairing. Round seven, you get my guy, Jack Westover from Washington, one of my favorite tight ends in this class. And then last pick, you get David Ogwebu. Keep him in state. Love it.
Beautiful stuff. Again, hit our phone lines. We are accepting jobs for general manager positions right now. If you need us right now, owners, hit our phone lines. You know where to find us, NFL Seekers. Everyone better be liking, subscribing. 1,500 subscribers. We're not done. We're going to keep going. Full steam ahead, baby. 1 week, Dan. 1 week.
Yep, we're grinding all the content. We have one more of these left, just the NFC South. So stay tuned if you're an NFC South fan and go check out your team's episode if you haven't already. We have our final positional ranking episode coming out soon, our quarterback rankings. We're just finishing up the film, finishing up our rankings for that one. We've got our final mock draft coming next week. Definitely stay tuned to the NFL Seekers podcast for some really fun content coming. The week of the draft, it's crazy. We're already here. We're really excited, and we're going to be active and just keeping the content churning all off season, fantasy content after the draft, just everything. It's gonna be really fun. So stay tuned to the NFL Seekers podcast. Anything else you want to say, Stores? Any extra hot takes?
You're putting me on the spot.
I threw
Goddamn,
that one on you there.
I should have
threw
been
that one
thinking a
on you.
little bit. Should have been thinking. But I'll go exit hot take with just a fun draft one. I think Trey Benson will be the first running back off the board. Come the draft in the next week. Trey Benson, maybe team's RB1. I'm gonna go hot take it and say Trey Benson off the board number 1.
Yeah, I've been pretty confident that's going to be Brooks, but I've been kind of starting to feel that one team's going to fall in love with Trey Benson, and he's a really crazy athlete, a lot of upside, and he can start day one because he's healthy. So I think he could be the first off the board as well. Really like that. But yeah, stay tuned to the NFL Seekers podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Comment if you like the draft. Comment if you dislike the draft. Just comment for the algorithm. But thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Ace.